During that time, they actually tried to bomb the airport too, and I had to go into the shelter there. I was definitely terrified, definitely really scared, and yeah, I did feel, worried that maybe I wouldn't make it. So right now, I'm 15 years old. I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana, and when I was around 4, moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and then from there, when I was 8, to Denver. My dad's Israeli and my mom's American. So growing up with an Israeli dad and a Jewish mom meant that I, was very involved in Jewish life. We didn't go to, synagogue every week, but we did celebrate the major holidays, and I went and I'm still going to a Jewish day school. My favorite Jewish holiday would probably be Purim, just because of all the festivities and getting to dress up and making food with everyone, and especially that idea of giving, like the mishloach manot, where you give gifts to other friends and other people. Purim is a Jewish holiday based on when the Jews escaped persecution and ultimately genocide in Persia a long, long time ago. Between Haman and what happened on Purim and nowadays, I do find a little bit of connection, as in when nowadays there's still a lot of anti-Semitism, and it especially feels like people in power, like Haman back then, are starting to be more and more open about it, and this time it doesn't really feel like we have just a Esther that can just come and fix everything. Previously, I would visit Israel every summer just to visit family and, go to the Western Wall, just, visit family as a vacation. But this time, we were planning to move for a year. And at first, of course, I was a little bit bummed because, I lived in Denver. But after the first few months, I really started settling in and was kind of getting used to it. And I was getting excited to, see what this year would bring. But that did get kind of cut short on October 7th, and it was just as I was starting to settle in. I woke up at around 6 a.m. I think my brother woke me up, and my mom told us to grab all our stuff and go down to the ground level, which is what we did. My mom had a house in Lehavim, and my dad had one in Kibbutz Dvir, which are both near or around Beersheba, so they're in the south. And we basically just watched TV while we heard explosions above us. At one point, we did have to go into our shelter for, I forgot how long, 45 minutes, an hour. I remember there was one explosion that did kind of shake the ground, like you felt it. At some point, I was on the couch watching TV, and I heard my mom on the phone with my dad, telling him about how she was gonna try to find tickets to America. I was expecting some missiles to be fired during my time in Israel. I was expecting to go into the shelter once, maybe twice, so this wasn't too out of the ordinary, but once I heard my mom talking about plane tickets to America, I realized that it was a little bit more serious than I first anticipated. And I remember it was about 1 p.m. when we actually headed to the airport. I think the biggest feeling I remember during all of our drives and stuff was just kind of being afraid of the sky almost. Because, you never know what's going to come from there. And of course, fear and dread, because you can't control the situation. It's something that you just have to kind of sit and hope it doesn't hit you. It took us until 1 a.m. to actually get a flight and board and make it back to America. And during that time, they actually tried to bomb the airport too, and I had to go into the shelter there. I was definitely terrified, definitely really scared, and yeah, I did feel, worried that maybe I wouldn't make it. So all the hatred that I've heard about or experienced since October 7th, it feels really weird because I am Jewish and Israeli, hearing people say such hateful things, it does feel kind of targeted towards me as well. It really is hard for me to read stuff like that, because I know that most of those people are most likely good people with good intentions that just are ignorant or, haven't done the research or heard it from someplace else or something like that. If there's the opportunity to fight anti-Semitism, I will try my best to take it, but a lot of the times it can feel overwhelming when you see so much hatred. Even one conversation can get people to humanize you because you are human. And the moment they realize that whoever they're talking about online is a real person, most of the time I think that they'll completely change.